Hey, Nicole in Memphis, Tennessee. Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and with the help of my GoPro camera, I'm going to show you how I cut prescription transition lenses for your Prada 23QS in the color 1AB-0A7 in the 53i size. Let's go ahead and take these things out of the case that they come in. Let's flatten that down and give me a little bit more room. Of course, your Prada case, or the Prada box, your Prada case, your Prada cloth. Hopefully you can see the little logo in there. It says Prada. Your card, whoa, don't go anywhere. Your card of authenticity. All of that comes with it. And you're going to get all the manufacturer's original packaging, and nonetheless, your Prada frame. And close all this up to give me some more work room here. And of course, it comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together during shipping while it's being shipped from Italy. And you're taking a page out of my book. These are sunglasses, as I have done. These are actually the Ray-Ban New Wayfarer sunglasses, and I put my clear prescription lenses. Of course, I have transition, so when I go outside they turn into shades, as yours will too. So let's go ahead and begin. Your lenses actually has the Prada serial number on one lens and then the Prada logo on the other. I don't know if it's good enough to see. I may have to hold it up to the light. That one says Prada and your serial number. And of course, these are Prada made in Italy, and it is the Prada 23Q in the 53i size, and again the color 1AB-087. So let's begin. I'm going to take out your original Prada lenses, and you're going to receive all of this in the mail. You get everything from it, including the original package, so you can tell you get the highest quality stuff. And I'm going to trace your frame. Let me hit a couple buttons first. I'm going to trace your frame in the edger. Once it traces, this little stylus is going to pop up, and it's going to trace the shape of the right lens before moving over and tracing the shape of the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Prada frame, and you will receive free, clear, single vision prescription or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will be reimbursed from this purchase whether you have a prescription or not, because this is an ophthalmic grade frame. Now that is the shape of your lens, just magnified. I'll bring it down to size. That is the shape that it is, that green diagram there. Your pupillary distance is 62, which is 31 in each eye. The computer starts at 32.5. I'm going to hit this minus button until we're at 31, and that is good. So let's go ahead and come down here and get your lenses prepped. Your right eye reads -5, -75 at 180, -5, -75 at 180. I will spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 0, which is also 180, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Put your lens in. Actually, let me make sure it's on 0. Yes, it is. Let me zero that out. Put it on -5, the power drum. Put your lens in, rotate until the sphere power comes in clearly. Find the optical center of your lens. Check your astigmatism correction. That looks good. And I'm going to put 3 dots on each lens, which are probably too light for you to see. So I'm going to darken them. Let me use this to help. This magnifies. You might get a weird special effect there. 1, 2, and 3. And let's put an R on there for right. Let's do the same thing now for your left lens, which reads -5 1/4, -75 at 180, -5 1/4, -75, still at 180, which is rare. You actually have the same axis for both eyes. Put the power drum on -5 1/4, rotate the lens, find the optical center, check your astigmatism correction. That's looking good. And then let's put 3 dots on your left lens that are too weak, so I'm going to use my little magnifier to help me see them better. 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to label that one L, which stands for not right. We got right and not right. So let's go back down here, bring everything back down. Let's take the right lens, put it on the little platform there. We can magnify that back again. Now the reason I put those dots on there is your lens has to be oriented just perfectly for you to see your best. And in order to, this is the lens before we get started, as you have seen. This is a block, or as I like to call it, Jenny from the block. I have to attach this to your lens. This is what's going to hold it in place while it's cutting, so I need a double-sided adhesive sticker. So I've got a couple of those up there. Let's pull this one down. Now the black side is the sticky side. I'm going to put that on one of those, set that there. Let's do it for the other one. Now on the back is a little silver magnet. That's going to do its job twice, and I'll show you in a little bit, but I'm going to pull the paper off, and now you can see the 3M logo. That little silver button lines up with the magnet inside here, and that holds that in place. I'm going to line up those 3 dots I just put on there. This is the geometric center of your frame, that blue cross. Your optical center is right there, and the other 2 go on that orange line that tells me it's in there oriented perfectly. I'm going to hit that button. The arm's going to drop down and place the block onto the right lens. And now let's do the same thing with the left. It already mirrors it. It gives you 31 as your pupillary distance for your left eye, because you're the same there as well. Line everything up with the optical center. Those other 2 dots are lined up on the orange line that tells me it's oriented in there perfectly. Hit that button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto your left lens. Now, where's my flashlight? The actual cut, this is the edger, by the way. It costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out and buy one and put it on your kitchen counter so you can cut glasses at home. You won't need me anymore. The actual cutting wheel is inside, and it's over here on the far right. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material. This wheel in the center with that channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the V-shaped bevel on your lens so it stays inside the bevel of your frame. So let's go ahead and take the right lens and put it into the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it Chuck. You know, that joke never gets old. Alright, so let's wake the computer up. I am not going to polish the lens. I'm not going to put a bevel on the front surface, only the back surface. And I'm going to cut this one manually so I can adjust where the bevel of this frame is, the bevel of the lens. So that clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be moved up, and it's going to be traced by 2 white styluses. It's going to measure the lens to make sure it's large enough to go into the frame, and it is, and it's actually going to measure twice to know exactly where it thinks it should place the bevel. And I'm going to override that. I'm actually going to move the bevel a little bit backwards so that you have no edge thickness in the front when people see you. I'm going to hit the green button, which is start in every language. And the cutting wheel is beginning to spin. It's going to move into place, and then your lens is going to drop down onto the cutting wheel. Now if you notice, there's flickering of light in the back. That is water running in the back. It's there to collect any optical sawdust from the cutting process, but polycarbonate lenses cut dry where plastic and high index lenses cut wet. Water would be spraying on the lens directly if this were plastic lenses. But they are not plastic, they're actually made out of polycarbonate. These are Essilor brand lenses. Essilor's name for polycarbonate lenses is airwear, because they're as light as air when you're wearing them. These are the Transitions, the TR Transition 7, remember your Roman numerals, Transition 7 signature lenses, and the GY stands for gray. So polycarbonate is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. They're virtually unbreakable. Your lenses are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes that never needs to be reapplied, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that you have to reapply every couple hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun. The other aspect about your lens, the initials AS, that stands for aspheric. Aspheric simply means not spherical. A spherical lens is completely round in every direction, and it gives you that ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance. When you look at someone's lenses and they look like big Coke bottle glasses, those are spherical lenses. Your lenses are aspheric. So not only, follow me Nicole, not only are they thinner and lighter, because your lenses are like a bowl, they're thinner in the center and thicker at the edge as you go outward, but I'm controlling the bevel and where that is placed. But the front curvature of their lens is much flatter. So you have a thinner lens and the actual front curvature, it's not bulging out this way. Even though it's a thinner lens, it can still bulge the front curve. So these are flatter to fit today's flatter curvature frames. Now, as you have seen, and as I have done, I can move the bevel forwards or backwards. Even though it looks counterintuitive, the bevel that's on the lens, I'm moving it backwards so that it moves back here and only the front part of the lens is going to protrude. If the machine did it by itself, it did 50-50, and you would have half the lens sticking out the front, half the lens sticking out the back. And I've moved it to give you the best cosmetic view possible. Now, water has begun spraying on the lens. It does it during the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle just to wash away any optical debris. And as you've just seen, a little arm moves into place. At the end of that arm is a little wheel like you find on a Dremel tool, and that's what's applying what's known as the safety bevel to the concave surface of the lens, which is the rear, the back surface, which sits closest to your face. In just a moment, I will open the door with my mind. Then I will take your lens out and dry it off. And we'll see if it will fit into the frame first go around. I'm going to dry everything off. I'm going to use my thumbnail. You see this? This is called Schwarf. That is optical debris that didn't get washed off. I'm going to scrape all of this off of your lenses. Ooh, that's coming off in one piece, like when you try and clean the vent in the lint trap in your dryer and all comes off in one piece. You know it's a good day then. So I get it all off of your lens and I collect it very neatly into one pile on the counter, and then I wipe it on the floor. Hey, that joke never gets old either. I love doing that. So this is what your lens started off looking like. This is what it's like now. So again, it's thin at the center, thicker at the edges. Let's go ahead and see if I can mount it into the frame first go around. I'm going to tuck it in, put it in at the outside corner first using my thumbs. I press down at the nose. It doesn't want to go in, so I'm going to take it down about, let's do about 2/10 of a millimeter. 0.5, 1.0, 0.15, 0.20, and hit retouch. And I'm going to take 2/10 of a millimeter off, going around the circumference of your lens until it snaps in there easily. I don't want to force the lens into the frame. That would cause the frame to stretch or to roll, as I call it. If you can imagine your frame being like a gutter, if your lens were too large, it would force the bottom of the frame to roll outwards from the tension put on there. Not only would it give you an ugly cosmetic look, but it would shorten the life of your frame. And since I cut every lens that gets shipped worldwide, you want a perfectionist like me cutting lenses for your frame. Beautiful classic Prada emblem on here. This is the classic shiny black with platinum trim. Of course, all Pradas are made in Italy. Your Italian leather Prada case with the textured surface on there with a magnet that keeps it closed. And of course the Prada emblem on the inside with the soft felt. And I also include instructions not only on how to care for your glasses, but for your case and your Prada cleaning cloth, so they will last you for years. No other seller on the internet, I am told, does that for people. I also include a photo request to have your picture on the website. Feel free to decline, but I always like to ask. So now let's take your frame out, your lens out, and try and mount it into the frame. And the reason why I cut it down a little bit more is because the golden rule when cutting lenses or cutting a piece of wood or cutting anything else, you can always cut more off of a surface. You can never add it back on. So I start a little bit large and work my way down. So I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner. And using my thumbs, I press in now. Now it snaps in easily. And let's go ahead and flip this over and begin cutting your left lens. I'm going to flip that over to L and hit start. Just like before, the door closes, that clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced by the two white styluses. Again, making sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. You can see as it goes around tracing. And of course, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness possible. Now this is a great cosmetic look even with your prescription, and you are significantly myopic, so this is going to look best in your frame. Let's go ahead and take this off. Pop that off of there. remove this sticker if I can. That's a good sticker. And let's go down here, and we're gonna, while your left lens cuts, I'm gonna inspect your right lens. The axis wheel is still on 0, which is also 180. That red dot is your optical center. I'm gonna place it into my Marco 101 lensometer just above that red dot. And I'm gonna read the power off of it. And I'm reading -5. There's a red 5 there. A +5 is black, which magnifies. Your lens is a -5, so it minifies. The unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, and it starts at 0 and goes up from there in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on, up to 5. So you need 20 steps of correction for your farsightedness. Without your glasses on, everything from here inward is wonderfully clear. You can see every millimeter on my PD stick, but once you move it farther away, it gets very, very blurry. Actually, everything in real life is much larger to you than when you have your glasses on. So when you put your glasses on, it actually minifies. That's why there's a minus sign. It minifies 20 steps. Now, after it's the correct size, you need 3 steps of astigmatism correction. Now, there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. Everyone relax. Quit freaking out when they hear that word. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. That is it. No one freaks out when they hear that. So, astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. It refers to a second curvature, a second shape of your eye. That's why you squint, because you're trying to change the shape of your eye manually. So you need 20 steps to make everything the correct size. You need an additional 3 steps to take away fuzzy edges and make everything clear. Now, for your left eye, you need 21 steps of correction for farsightedness correction. You are very nearsighted. So you need 21 steps for your farsightedness, and you need an additional 3 steps after that to make everything crisp. Now, this is unique. Well, again, let me get back up a little bit. I'm getting ahead of myself. Astigmatism is like the fine-tune knob. If this were a knob, we're going to turn that knob to 180. Now, a straight line starts at 0, and 90 is the middle, the vertical meridian. 180, 0 and 180 are the same thing, same as 90 and 270. It is a straight line, same as 0 and 180. So we're going to turn that knob starting at 0, and we're going to go all the way to 180. We're going to do the same thing for your left eye. Now, these are the first 2 numbers are real values to be concerned with. That is your right eye, -5, -75 at 180. Your left is -5 1/4, -75 at 180 also. Now we started at -5. Let's check your astigmatism correction, which is 3 steps, and we're at -575. You remember high school algebra where you add 2 like signs together? Yeah, don't worry, I won't put you on the spot. You didn't think there was going to be so much math involved. Don't worry, I don't remember high school algebra either. I don't remember a lot of stuff from high school, to be honest with you. But other than I was really cool, I do remember that. But using today's terms, if someone had borrowed $5 from you and then they borrowed another 75 cents, they would owe you $5.75. That's where we're at, 575. So let's go ahead and check the left eye. Let's take that out. Let's dry everything off. Let's see if this fits first time around. It is 1 step stronger, so there's a lot of good stuff on there to clean off. Look at that. Look at that. Scrape all that off, put it on the counter. You know what's coming. Once it's on the counter, wipe it on the floor. Why do I do that? Because it makes it look like I've been working in case someone comes over. Alright, so let's take your frame out. We're going to tuck it in at the outside corner. Using the thumbs, press down at the nose. Oh no, that snaps in good. Let me take this block off. It is no longer needed. Let's pull the sticker off. That is no longer needed as well. Put the lens in. We're still at 0, which is again rare that we don't have to change the astigmatism correction, the fine-tune knob, if you will. And we're at -5 1/4 that I just read. We're going to check your astigmatism correction, and that puts us at 6. That's because someone borrowed $5.25, then they borrowed another 75 cents. So we have a combined value of 6 total diopters of correction. Now your pupillary distance is 62. So I'm going to turn this card over so you can see. I'm going to place the 0 of my PD stick, come here PD stick, against my thumb on your right lens. And then when we measure On your left lens, we're getting 62 millimeters, so that is made perfectly. Now, this is the time in every video that I explain that when I'm cleaning these dots off, that when you get these in the mail in Memphis, Tennessee, some good barbecue out there, but when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these could be too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other, and I'm an exception. I'll show you in just a moment. But because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm going to get them in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, remember I'm part of that 80%. When I put mine on the counter, they wobble, because I got one ear that is higher than the other. But I flip them over, press down, there is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do, and your temples are not askew in any way like that. Check the tension on each hinge, and that's the same in uniform. So, now Nicole, this is what your lenses look like clear. I'm going to go ahead and activate them. Your transitions, that is, I'm going to expose them to a strong burst of UV light in my little transitions box. And Nicole, as you can see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for transition lenses to darken. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now, Nicole, pay attention. This is an important part of the video. All transition lenses will get dark on day 1. Give them 2 weeks of exposure to the sun, and they're going to continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks until they get to their final setting. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they will not work is when you're behind the windshield in a traditional car. Your windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays that would cause them to turn dark, or to prevent your dashboard from cracking, and that's why they won't turn dark in a car. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken, and every moment you're outside and exposed to the sun, they will darken. They're also temperature sensitive, meaning that when it's 85 and 90 degrees and below, they get darker than they do when it's triple digits. When it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable, everyone's miserable when it's 100 degrees outside. So if anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. Nicole in Memphis, Tennessee. I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription lenses with Transition 7 gray lenses for your Prada 23QS in the 53 eye size in the color 1AB0A7. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.